Wow. We're doing this. All right, it's live. Wow. Crypto markets, this is what's bear market looks like. Solana, I was surprised, dipping below 100. But Ethereum was dipping, getting close to maybe being below sub 2,000. I don't think it got there, but it was starting to get close. And like to thank Hippie 605 in the chat. Thank you for the hosting of Variant News here on D Live. Greatly appreciate it. Check out Hippie 605. Does lots of great streams. So looking at Bitcoin, I'm gonna actually switch over. I've got I want to take a look at, I still need to update. We got watch list, portfolio. This portfolio view at least gives a historical perspective. But yeah, Bitcoin was at all-time high back in November of last year, almost hitting 70,000 at 68,991. So what's cool about this thing is that it does give recent highs, and we're looking at 32,940 right now, in that range. Ethereum was at an all-time high at 4,867 back on November 10th, all the way down. It got all the way down to 2,160, it looks like, but did not go below 2,000. I don't know if it will. Checking out Son of a Tech's stream. He's doing weekly live streams on YouTube. Definitely check him out. He's saying we might get down to the last highs of the last cycle will be our lows. So that would mean Ethereum could go 1,100, 1,000, something like that. But Ethereum had a lot of growth last year, and there's still some more it can go down. Who knows? Some of the others tokens I follow never really got any real growth. XLM, but that's tanking. 0.19, but it had a recent high of 0.44. We're talking about token that does not have much volatility here. And XRP at 0.60. So yeah, it's definitely tanking, but it had a recent high, not an all-time high, but a recent high of 1.34 back on November 9th. That's where a lot of the crypto all-time highs were. These for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some others. But XRP, last I checked, Jeremy Hogan's video on YouTube, he's been covering the XRP SEC case for a while now, at least. I think from the actually very beginning of XRP SEC case, and he's determined that through court filings, that it could extend all the way till August. But you know what? I think that's long term. It's, we're in a bear market in crypto, so all cryptos are suffering. So XRP is definitely suffering more because of the SEC case, but I think if they can finish up the court case by end of summer, I think XRP will be in a good spot. And I'm wondering when they'll finally remove the freeze on XRP. I would imagine that would happen if if it does happen, I could definitely see, even with the SRC case concluding, they still don't let your average Joe buy XRP. That would be something. But if the case gets wrapped up, people should at least be allowed in the U.S. to buy some up. But I'm looking at trying to get some bought up outside of the United States, and also checking out just some of the anti-crypto government legislation. Kosovo, we covered this on the Cooking Yankee show, banning crypto mining in their country, complaining that electricity costs are high. You're going to see a lot of that. A lot of these countries, basically any country that is authoritarian in nature, Russia, a lot of these old Soviet bloc countries, well, now some of them have new names, but they're probably going to crack down on crypto. Whereas U.S., Canada, and U.K., a few other places should be fine. But electricity costs are soaring all over Europe, especially in the mainland Europe. I'm not sure about the U.K., probably not that well. Electricity costs probably pretty bad. It's something I can look into. And Russia also has been making public statements about regulations they are forming or will form to ban crypto mining. But, Russia is really a rogue state. I mean, they don't have, Son of a Tech was going over this also, they don't have the firm grip on their citizens like they do with the CCP under Chinese citizens, for the Chinese citizens in China. Russia doesn't have that. As it's just really just a, it's a rogue state. I mean, as long as you're not trying to run in office against Putin, you're pretty much all right for the most part. I just don't see Russia enforcing these crypto bans and it being pervasive across all of Russia. And it is more about control. These governments want control. Crypto is very scary for them. They lose control of their country's currency, and it's used as a hedge. But cat's out of the bag, so they got to deal with it. And might want to try to check out some. There's a Mark Moss video that I was checking out, and I didn't get to complete it. Pretty long one, but I might do another Mark Moss video, basically on just that topic. Governments and their oppression of crypto miners. I'm gonna get a few stories lined up, and I'm gonna. I'd like to play music. You know what? Am I on YouTube? I have to check. I have to check these things. Yes, I am streaming on YouTube, so I don't want to get a copyright strike. I'm just going to go back to the intro music. I'd rather have music playing. Crypto's in a bear market anyway, so who wants to look at those numbers? And I'm going to get some links put together, and I'll come back with the media viewer and go over a few stories. Might as well get this stream back and rolling. Got a son of a tech video up here, but I'm not going to start with that. I'm actually going to go back a little ways. Here. And I'm going to start with, not this one, but this one. This is zooming in with, I always forget her name, Simone Gao. Anyway, pretty good newscast that she does. She centers obviously on China, does a very good job of it. This was back in December 17th, and I was not aware of it, but guy from the Big Head Hound Show at JP Morgan made some pretty disparaging remarks about China, and really it's important to follow what CCP is doing, especially if you're following the crypto markets, because the war, the lines in the sands have been drawn with crypto, and you have the CCP with their digital yuan, which is still in a pilot program. Not sure when they're going to make some kind of official release of their digital yuan, but from what I researched, it's still in a pilot program, giving away their digital yuan. Obviously, they talked for years about getting rid of Bitcoin mining, all at the same time trying to, I think many people would agree, trying to game or take control of the Bitcoining industry. I mean, they really threw a lot at it. They had a big percentage of the Bitcoin mining hash rate, and then they released their digital yuan, and then now have basically banned Bitcoin mining. But there's got to be at least pockets left that are mining Bitcoin in China. But it's not. It doesn't appear to be a long-term path for people in China. I would imagine once the CCP decides full release for the digital yuan, they're going to probably eliminate all crypto mining, Bitcoin, and anything else countrywide. And I'm going to check this video out on JP Morgan with some very radical statements about China and the CCP that you normally do not hear, because the West, the U.S., Canada, many capitalistic, industrialized nations, whatever the hell you want to call it, they've been pumping up China for decades. China would not have been able to grow as fast as they did without all of the spoon feeding of massive amounts, billions, now trillions of dollars that have been pumped into China. But is that changing? JP Morgan, biggest, probably the most notorious or famous of the big banks, making some radical statements here. So we're going to check out a little bit of this video.
It's Zooming in China Tea Time. I'm Simone Gao. At a November 23rd gathering of the Boston College Chief Executives Club, Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan Chase Bank, revealed that while he was recently in Hong Kong, he made a joke that the Communist Party is celebrating its 100th year. So is JP Morgan, and I'll make you a bet we last longer. This revelation came with his admission that I can't say that in China. They're probably listening anyway. Whether the CCP was listening or not, the world was, and JP Morgan's government relations team and offices in China were scrambling to mitigate the damage within hours. That began with a public apology from Dimon, who clarified that while he was trying to emphasize the strength and longevity of our company, he regretted and should not have made that comment. Through his spokesperson, Diamond added that it's never right to joke about or denigrate any group of people, whether it's a country, its leadership, or any part of society and culture. Speaking in that way can take away from constructive and thoughtful dialogue in society, which is needed now more than ever. His spokesperson added that Diamond acknowledges he should not speak lightly or disrespectfully about another country and its leadership. JP Morgan's history is longer than that of the Chinese Communist Party. It was established as a U.S. corporation in 1895. In 1921, they opened their first branch in China, just as the Communist Party was being established. Diamond's comments then may threaten that 100-year relationship, especially if this comment expresses his true belief that he is not optimistic about the future of the CCP and is only seeking to establish a good relationship with the current regime until its inevitable fall. There is much at stake. JP Morgan currently touts a $20 billion business in China with hopes to expand their market share. Those hopes were strengthened early in 2021 when JP Morgan was granted approval by Chinese regulators to fully own their China securities ventures. Executives at JP Morgan are considering more licensing requests, but they will need to maintain good standing in the country to have those approved. While the international attention to his comments may be new, comments of this kind are not new from Diamond. He is a well-known voice on Wall Street who has been openly critical of a number of countries at times, including the U.S. But comments about the potential instability of China came first in his 66-page to shareholders earlier this year. In that letter, Diamond wrote that while China has done a highly effective job with economic development over the past 40 years, the next 40 years will require China to deal with our diminishing resources, income inequality, and corruption. While Diamond did not address the CCP directly, he did mention that only 100 million people in China effectively participate in the nation's single-party system. With a total population of 1.4 billion, that leaves China with the lowest participation level of any developed country. China's recent success definitely has its leadership feeling confident, wrote Diamond in the shareholder letter. Growing middle classes almost always demand political power, which helps explain why autocratic leadership almost always falters in a larger, more complex economy. Some of the strain between the CCP and JP Morgan may have come from Xi Jinping's recent marginalization of veteran leaders in domestic business and U.S. relations. According to a November 22nd report published by Nikkei News, before the 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China, Xi Jinping was dismissive of the performance of Chinese political and business leaders closest to the United States, including Wang Qishan, Jack Ma, and others. All of those receiving Xi's rebuke belong to one organization, the Tsinghua School of Economics and Management Advisory Committee. This is a significant reversal of Xi's attitude when he took over as the party's general secretary in 2012.
So I'm going to finish up with this video, but that is the gist of it. Remains to be seen in, who knows, the next year, the next 5 years, how much the middle class there in China demands more political power, as it really has none at all, if not negative power, in the current situation in China. So it will take time. We'll see what happens in the future. I'm going to do one more. I'm just going to do a little bit here. This is a more recent video, January 21st. This was posted from Zooming In, and how Xi's most powerful ideas man got America wrong.
Hello everyone, welcome to Zooming in China Tea Time. I'm Simone Gao. I'm suffering from allergies on my face, so I won't be appearing on camera this time. Sorry about that. Dubbed almost certainly the most dangerous man in the world that most folks have never heard of by Washington Post columnist Hugh Hewitt, Wang Huning is emerging as a source of intrigue for academic and political leaders trying to understand the rapidly changing tides of Chinese politics. A man notorious for his comfort in the shadows of Chinese presidents who seeks no political limelight for himself, Wang is reported to have carried tremendous influence over the last three leaders of the Chinese Communist Party and to be the central figure behind Xi Jinping's major policy reforms. According to an October 2021 article,
I think Xi Jinping, I'm not trying to degrade him, although it'll appear that way, but he really does need ideas, man, because he seems to be an empty shell, an empty vessel, kind of like Beijing Biden. They both Xi Jinping, career communist crony, whatever. Same thing with Beijing Biden. I mean, career crony in the political rig system, right? But this guy, his ideas, man. Let's check out a little bit more of this.
In Palladium, written by a China expert using the pseudonym N.S. Lyons, the sudden wave of new government policies that are currently appending Chinese life in what state media has characterized as a profound transformation of the country, policies that are commonly referred to as Xi Jinping's Common Prosperity Campaign, are the brainchild of Wang Huning. Recently, I read Wang Huning's popular memoir, America Against America, written after 6 months' stay in the United States. I have to say, his knowledge of Western political philosophy, American history, and American politics went well beyond my expectations, leaving me with the impression that he is a diligent, rigorous, and qualified scholar. Despite that theoretical rigor used in his memoir, however, I don't think he understands the essence of the American order. Does that matter? Yes, it does. Wang is now charged with charting a way forward for the world's second most powerful nation. In that role, he has chosen to view the U.S. as a negative lesson and an example of what not to do when defining China's path. He's also choosing to define and build China's strength in opposition to America's perceived weaknesses. With China's economic size and ambition, any political economic move it makes will have an impact on the world. We have only to think about the impact that Nazism had on the world to understand that ideas have consequences. Yet for all Wang's clear persuasive power with the presidents he has served under, I do not believe he yields as much power as author N.S. Lyons claims. Lyons claims that Xi Jinping's strength is sufficient to tolerate very smart people around him, and that Wang, as the brightest of the bunch, survived into Xi's regime because of it. I believe this judgment to be wrong. I don't believe that Xi Jinping is strong enough to tolerate dissent and highly intelligent people. Instead, he's faction-minded. He trusts and uses only those people from where his outposts were in Zhejiang and Fujian province, which caused a grave alienation of the rest of the CCP bureaucracy. Wang Huning did not survive into the Xi Jinping regime because of Xi Jinping's broad-mindedness. He survived because of his political cunning, a cunning that has allowed him to gain the trust of 3 generations of Chinese leaders, especially with Xi Jinping, who only trusts his own people. In Lyons' reading of the book,
All right, so the mic was muted, and I've been just babbling on with no mic levels going out to the stream. So as I was saying, I'm going to do a Mark Moss video now. So basically, Digital Yuan is, what the CCP believes they will be able to control the world with. And I think there definitely are Democratic leaders, even some Republican leaders, other capitalists in the West, in general, but that like the aspect of being able to trace citizens' purchases, everything that you do with a digital asset, central bank digital currency. I mean, all of it can be efficiently traced. Once the network infrastructure is in place, it's over. It's making it easier to tax, monitor, surveil. But that's precisely why the digital yuan's not going to succeed. And the U.S. has made statements. Janet Yellen, Secretary of Treasury, and others. There's a new guy at the Federal Reserve. Is it Powell? I believe it is Powell. Federal Reserve. Yeah, Jerome Powell. They've both been stating CBDC from the U.S. is coming, but it could be a year, 2 years, 5 years. Nobody knows. It's just Congress, government, federal government in the U.S. very, very dysfunctional at the moment. And it moves too slow, whereas CCP moves really, really fast because it's just whatever they want to do, they do it. There are no regards for human rights or anything else. So, Mark Moss has got a video on this this very topic. What is the U.S. What are they up to? And what is at stake?
Will the United States give up their lead in the world, submitting to China and Russia and following their footsteps? Or will the United States take the lead and show that we are still the leaders of the free world? Let's dig in and see what is going on today. There's been big news happening all day today. I've been tuned in watching what's going on as Bitcoin and proof of work and proof of stake and other cryptocurrencies is in the debate in Congress. They are talking about whether they should allow you, the free person in the land of the free, to continue to...
I just want to mention quickly, proof of work is definitely evolving. Unfortunately, I think there is so much pushback on proof of work, crypto mining. A lot of people who are extremely misinformed, believing that it's damaging the climate, part of the climate change, the apocalyptic type thinking. The small minority is spreading in social media. But the reality is that proof of work is going to evolve, especially with the Flux network. I think Flux network is definitely something to look at in crypto. They are moving on with proof of useful work, which is going to encompass pretty much anything that's technical, anything that's digital, touches the digital realm. I think it's going to be Flux, and technology like it are going to be instrumental in building metaverse, the whole new immersive internet we're going to be evolving into. Proof of useful work could be any kind of machine learning project on a large scale that needs processing power, needs data crunched, all that stuff. AI could be anything, doing video editing on a mass scale, things along those lines. Just, we're in a digital economy, and it's only going to grow. So...
to do what you want, to store your wealth the way you want, and more importantly, for the market to decide what they think is the best technology and what they want to do with their money and their time, again, in the land of the free. Let's take a look at what was going on today, and I'm going to explain to you some nuance that they are, of course, not digging into. They're not sharing with you that will completely change your opinion on all of this. So if you take a look here, you can see on this Politico document here that Bitcoin is the next climate fight for Democrats. They're kind of putting this the Democrats and Republicans head to head. I'm just looking at it as like me as an individual, my right to choose versus the government and what they're trying to do. But there's scrutiny from lawmakers. Like I said, they were meeting all day today. And it says here, the scrutiny from lawmakers, including Senator Elizabeth Warren, one of our favorites, of course, and the leadership of the House Energy and Commerce Committee. So that's who's talking about this, the House Energy and Commerce Committee, of course, Senator Elizabeth Warren. We love her. She's a big proponent of our freedom. Just kidding. And it says here, I love this quote from the Bitfury CEO, Brian Brooks. He used to be the OCC, the comptroller of the currency. Now he's in the private markets. But he says, quote, it's not up to the government to decide if Bitcoin is important to the country's future. That's the market, end quote. And I just love that, what he's saying right there. Again, the United States, the land of the free. It's not up to them to decide what's important if Bitcoin is important.
I mean, think about what they're talking about here, these politicians in the U.S. What is Elizabeth Warren's, what does she envision? Stopping all crypto mining, destroying an entire industry that's already $1 trillion industry? So you're just going to shut it down because of this climate hysteria, which is all misguided. It's we went over this Canuck and Yankee show. We had an editorial on it. It's all a smokescreen. There's obviously a lot of corporations that are not. They're just starting to get into crypto. They could be causing problems. Against crypto mining in general. But I think the writing's already on the wall. Everyone, even Google now. Google was one of the biggest company on the planet that was not publicly announcing anything with blockchain, at least not anything impressive and consistently. And they finally are starting to do that. I mean, that's it. That was the last one that I'm aware of the big tech companies. All of them. Microsoft's in it big. They're in it big with the metaverse. Now still, I think it's around 80 billion. It was $78 billion. They bought Blizzard, one of the biggest game developers in the world. They're making huge moves, all for the whole gaming market and the metaverse. Gaming's going to play a huge part in that. And same time, Microsoft got their blockchain identification framework. I think it's open source, OIN, O-I-N. And Amazon is already integrating blockchain into AWS. Apple's already made comments of possibly accepting Bitcoin and things along those lines. All the big companies are moving towards it. And at the same time, you have these politicians in the U.S. that are crying climate change, Bitcoin mining is destroying the climate. It's just absolutely bizarre. I mean, we've already passed the point of no return. And proof of use will work will only make the whole industry much, much larger.
Important to the country's future. It's the markets. It's us. If I think Bitcoin is important to me, who are you to say it's not? And this is really where the crux of the argument lies, in my opinion. They want to say that Bitcoin is a waste of energy. Who are you to say what a waste is? I may think that your 20 minutes of meditation a day is a waste of your time, but it may be very important to you. I might think that your hour of TV watching is a waste of time. I might think the energy that the TV is consuming for you to watch TV is a waste of time. But who am I to say what your waste of time is, what's not worth it to you? One man's trash is another man's treasure. And as I make the case all the time, all value is subjective. So who is the state, who is the government to tell us what a waste is? As he said, that's the markets. And if we keep going down, I'm going to frame this up, and then I'm going to show you where they got this wrong and where they should really be focusing on, so you have the information you need. So we can see here, Democrats are expected to press the executives to adopt sustainable practices. Key piece. This is where their argument is sustainable practices, while Republicans are planning to frame mining as something the U.S. should nurture as a competitive advantage. And so We saw China kick all Bitcoin mining out of their country in May of 2021, and it handed the lead to the United States. The United States has a chance to lead the world in this and become the dominant player. China kicked it out. Other big news broke today. Russia is also trying to follow the same footsteps as China, and they also want to get rid of all Bitcoin and cryptocurrency mining as well. As I explained in those videos, we'll go ahead and link it up here. The reason why China and Russia are trying to kick them out of the country is not because of their energy or something like that. It's because of something known as the Mundell-Fleming trilemma, which is basically a nation cannot control, there's three vectors: one, their monetary supply; two, their interest rates; and third, the free flow of capital. And so if they manipulate the monetary supply and interest rates, capital is going to leave. And so what do? Well, they make it where you can't leave, capital can't leave. And so if people can move into cryptocurrencies and into Bitcoin, it makes it very easy. And if they just cut that off, we saw Russia saying the same thing. It's a threat to their monetary policies. Because if I opt out of the monetary policy, then they can't have any control over what I do. And I'm going to show you the United States is talking about the same thing. It's pretty scary. So anyway, the Democrats want to push this. They want to shut it down. But the Republicans are saying, no, we should keep it going. But again, I don't want to make this about a left versus right argument. I don't look at the world that way. But look at this statement right here from Senator Elizabeth Warren, who's the one leading the charge. She says, quote, "The extraordinarily high energy usage and carbon emissions associated with Bitcoin mining could undo much of our work to tackle the climate crisis. Not to mention the harmful impacts mining has on local environments and electricity prices," end quote. But here's the kicker. Quote again, "It is time for Congress and federal regulators to step up and address the serious risks that crypto poses to," check it out, "both our economy and our environment."
All right, it's completely ridiculous. And, an industry is already sprouted up. Most people that mine, especially the smaller miners, and obviously in the summer, the warmer months, you need an AC unit, but you don't need to run it that intensely. Obviously, you set things up right, which most miners do. It's actually very energy efficient what they're doing. And here now, I'm in the Northeast, extremely cold, and I have a main electric heater in the center of the house that warms a lot up, but it rarely goes on. Mining rigs right in the center, keeps it warm. Long term, I'm going to be looking at down in the basement and mining down there, and then pushing air through duct vents, things along those lines. So it's actually the exact opposite. I mean, most people that are mining they're looking at how to be efficient and how to get multiple uses. You're not just mining crypto, you're heating, you're doing other things. And that whole aspect, that side of the market is going to become much more versatile.
So she's talking about our economy and environment. So first of all, there's about $2 trillion in the economy from cryptocurrencies, hundreds of billions of dollars in crypto mining, probably tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of jobs in crypto mining. And so it poses to our economy, well, really, because if you shut that down, that's going to crush the economy. Of course, they have no problem taking away jobs and shutting economy. But what I think she's really saying is that if they can't continue to manipulate the economy by pumping in money and adjusting interest rates and taxing people certain ways, if they don't continue that, then the economy can be hurt. And of course, if we continue to opt out into some cryptocurrency, they lose their ability to do that. That's what she's saying. And the environment. I want to tackle this environmental piece. I want to show you a couple things here. I want to just look at a couple more things here. So crypto mining facilities, energy consumption is also causing significant increases in energy costs for local small businesses and residents. So they're saying that because all these big businesses are moving in and they're setting up these cryptocurrency mining, they're consuming all this energy and it's driving up the cost of energy, supply and demand. So more people need the energy. It's driving up the cost for local small businesses and residents. So they're saying that crypto mining is competing with residents and driving the prices up on them. 100% false. I'm going to show you that in a second. And we can see here that Here's a perfect statement. Mining companies such as Marathon Digital have announced plans to link hundreds of thousands of mining rigs to solar and wind farms. And Jack Dorsey, who's the co-founder of Twitter, recently announced plans to build an open source crypto mining business that has funded renewable-based projects. So these companies are setting up their own energy sources, a lot of them on renewable, wind and solar, as you can see, to run their own rigs. They're not going into residential neighborhoods to compete. They can't do that. And I'm going to show that to you in a second. And here's the last quote on this article. A Republican aide to the House Energy and Commerce Committee said the U.S., quote, has an opportunity to lead here, particularly in our competition with China, and again, as of today, even Russia. So will the U.S. pick it up or not? Let's take a look at a couple things. So first off, it's causing enormous harm to the environment, the massive consumption of energy. So let's take a look at that. All right. So first off here's a fact-checking sheet that kind of breaks some of this down. So we see here the claim, went too big, that Bitcoin's growth alone could single-handedly push global emissions above 2%. Okay, well, that's false. So many studies that have been done have debunked the climate natures. All right, but I don't even want to get into that because that's a whole nother argument. But let's look at this. So Bitcoin uses energy comparable to Argentina or Norway. Well, it may be true, but it's misleading. And as you can see here, Bitcoin reliably secures more than double the value of either country's GDP. So if you look at energy to gross domestic product, Bitcoin is producing way more GDP, way more economic activity for the world, but its mining accounts for roughly 0.27% of global energy consumption. That's less than gold mining. It's 18 times less than residential air conditioners. Now, I don't have an air conditioner in my house. I live by the beach, and the houses in my neighborhood, we don't have air conditioners. So I think it's a waste of electricity for you to have an air conditioner. Why do you need an air conditioner? I don't have an air conditioner. What's the value of an air conditioner? Do you see the point here? So Bitcoin air conditioning uses 18 times more energy than Bitcoin mining. Is that a waste? Let's keep going. I want to show you a couple other things. This one I love. So the World Economic Forum told us, here you can see it circled in red, in 2017 that in 2020, which is 2 years ago, Bitcoin would consume more power than the entire world does. So in 2017, they warned us by 2020, Bitcoin would consume more power than the entire world. Their models were wrong, just like every other model they have. I don't know why anybody listens to their models. As I just said, Bitcoin mining uses less than 0.25% of all the electricity in the world. Not all the electricity in the world. But let's take a look at this, because this is where we really get into it. So I'm going to reference this article from Lynn Alden. If you're not following Lynn,
I'm going to finish up with this. I think I posted it in the chat. Yeah, check it out if you want to check out the rest of it. But yeah, I mean, it's I have some very real concerns about these climate change people that are delusional. I mean, there's no other way to look at it. Yes, winters have gotten... I can see winters in my lifetime, and yes, they have gotten warmer here in the Northeast. The world's not going to end, though. There is an argument. Yes, the temperatures may be rising, but demonizing Bitcoin and crypto mining is not going to solve it. They're just looking for a scapegoat. And imagine that. It's like they're going after the Bitcoin mining, but what about, the oil companies? What about these big corporations wasting energy, wasting resources? What about the electrical grid? I mean, if the electrical grid was more efficient, we wouldn't be wasting so much energy. And I'm wondering, with the COOF pandemic appearing to be coming to an end, and I pray and hope there isn't some other contagion or whatever, some kind of gain of function weirdness that releases from some lab again. Let's hope and pray that does not happen. And COVID, I said it. I mean the COOF. Let's hope that we're in an endemic. It's going to fade out. It's going to mix in with the flu. and the numbers obviously will go down, showing all indications of that. So what are they going to have? What are these politicians like Elizabeth Warren going to have? To come up with ways to control us, control markets, and have power. Well, unfortunately, climate change is, I mean, it's been going on for, you could say that it really started to ramp up in the 80s, then the 90s, and it's really starting to ratchet up, especially for the Democrats here in the United States. That's just, become their main talking point. And if the coup goes away, if the coup becomes less significant, they're going to put more energy into trying to gain power, more power through this whole climate delusion, climate change delusion. The world's going to end. And I could see it happening where they start forcing people that are, at the house level, the individual level, the home level, the family level. You can't run certain devices. They have to be such and such energy efficient, things along those lines. Maybe. I mean, that 18 times, basically air conditioners are using 18 times more power than Bitcoin mining. So are they gonna start going after that? Who knows? Let's hope they don't, but I'm going to move on to the next video. I'm going to check out the metaverse, and anybody in the chat, if you've checked out any new games, I know Anywhere was on a stream a little while ago, was taking a look at a metaverse-like game, and now I can't remember the name of it. I added some notes for it, a bookmark or something. But yeah, definitely games are definitely going to be the focal point of the metaverse, and could be one of that first. There could be some big project, gaming project that cracks the code on what's needed to create what will be seen as a true metaverse game. Incorporating blockchain, crypto, fully immersive. I don't know. The virtual reality technology is not there yet, but Elon Musk is working on a direct neural interface. So who knows what's going to happen in the next 2 to 5 years. So this is Son of a Tech. Microsoft will own the metaverse. They've made those big moves, like I mentioned, trying to purchase Blizzard. I believe it will go through. But you never know. There is a chance that U.S. Regulatory Commission will come in and say that they can't seal the deal on the Blizzard buyout. Who knows?
The other thing that was interesting is more along the lines of gaming, but I think is relevant to everyone, because primarily what we're talking about is a massive acquisition. You guys might be aware of all of the troubles that Activision Blizzard has been having, especially within the culture wars, I suppose, plus them just being complete jerks and also ruining pretty much all the games that everybody ever cared about over the past few years. This one's crazy. So I'm assuming, because of all the drama behind Activision Blizzard, that's why this is happening. But Microsoft is to buy Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion. Whoa. So.
And also, the state of AAA gaming is really, you just see articles all over the place, and I think there is some validity to it, very much real validity to it, that AAA games, AAA studios are basically... They promised the world. They've created so much hype. The gaming market has become too popular, especially at the AAA level, to where they have these millions, billions of dollars they're spending on marketing. So they're kind of making these games sound like they're the greatest thing since sliced bread, and then they release them, and they never managed their coding teams properly, the QA, everything, and the game is buggy, it's messy, and then they think, well, it's we now have cloud games. Back, 20 years ago, you couldn't release a game and then just patch it online with a update once a week. That was it. They burned it to CD or whatever and DVD, and that was it. You installed the game and it had to work. And they had to put more time into making them good. And now these AAA studios have just gone completely insane, thinking they can always just patch the game and it'll get better. But it's definitely decimated gamers in general. They're just getting turned off to the point where I think a lot of gamers are just with the scarcity of GPUs and the high costs of GPUs, even the consoles at $500. The whole market's going into transition, but who knows? Microsoft has enough resources, and it's probably in a better position to engage with the metaverse than Facebook. I think Facebook is going to fail miserably.
This is a wild acquisition because Microsoft has been buying up studios like nobody's business. And in this one, they're going to be buying basically two of the largest studios in existence in one fell swoop. And they're going to own a majority. In my opinion, from what it looks like, they're going to own a majority of video game production studios across the board. So with 3 billion people actively playing games today and fueled by a new generation steeped in the joys of interactive entertainment, gaming is now the largest and fastest growing form of entertainment. Today, Microsoft Corp announced plans to acquire Activision Blizzard, a leader in game development and interactive entertainment content publisher. This acquisition will accelerate the growth in Microsoft's gaming business across mobile, PC, console, and cloud, and will provide building blocks for the metaverse. So, did you guys ever read or watch like Ready Player One? And one of the things that was always interesting about Ready Player One is all of the pop culture that was licensed within the one game. Now, we basically right now have one company that controls a majority of it within entertainment as far as from the perspective of like movies and TV, and that's Disney, right? Star Wars, Marvel, all of it, right? They're just buying all that up. And then we have like one entity here, Microsoft, that is going to own all of the IPs for all of the video games. Anything that's interesting from Skyrim to Diablo to World of Warcraft to Halo to Forza. And to build a metaverse that people are interested in playing in, you would probably want to appeal to nostalgia. And so what do you need to do before you can create a game that allows you to sell items that appeal to people's past, right? You have to own all of the IP. So making this acquisition, and then this article does make a very key point here, when this is how you build the foundation to create an appealing metaverse. This is how you do it. Is that what Microsoft is doing? They like to do their crossover stuff. Microsoft will acquire Activision Blizzard for $95 per share in an all-cash transaction valued at $68.7 billion, inclusive of Activision Blizzard's net cash. When the transaction closes, Microsoft will become the world's third largest gaming company by revenue, behind Tencent and Sony. The planned acquisition includes iconic franchises from the Activision Blizzard and King studios like Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch, Call of Duty, and Candy Crush. In addition to the global esports activities through Major League Gaming, the company has studios around the world with nearly 10,000 employees. Bobby Kotick will continue to serve as CEO of Activision Blizzard, and he and his team will maintain their focus on driving efforts to further strengthen the company's culture and accelerate business growth. Once the deal closes, the Activision Blizzard business will report to Phil Spencer, CEO of Microsoft Gaming. Quote, gaming is the most dynamic and exciting category in entertainment across all platforms today and will play a key role in the development of metaverse platforms. Oh my God. End quote. And that is from Satya Nadella. That is the chairman and CEO of Microsoft. So Microsoft's aware of this metaverse thing. I'm wondering how long they've been aware and been moving towards it. If we talk about them like acquiring things like Bethesda and all these other studios early on that have iconic characters and figures that they want to implement within their own metaverse. Well, first to the field from these big three is going to be a big deal, right? So if you're Sony or Tencent, right? Tencent's going to have like what? League of Legends, a whole bunch of other stuff. Sony's going to have like Spider-Man, Last of Us, that sort of thing. If you're looking from a metaverse perspective at iconic characters, I think Microsoft owns more iconic characters and assets than Sony or Tencent, at least from a Western perspective. We're investing deeply in world-class content, community, and the cloud to usher in a new era of gaming that puts players and creators first and makes gaming safe, inclusive, and accessible.
All right, I'm going to finish up with this video. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Microsoft can do here. And hopefully they can fix the Studio A problem, AAA gaming problem, that studio issue of just these game after game, and these huge games with massive marketing budgets and just hundreds and hundreds of people working on it. And they keep releasing buggy games and really are nobody at the AAA level is really pushing things and driving innovation in gaming. It's just similar to like Hollywood. You know, all they do is stupid remakes of old movies, and even those aren't good. The remakes, and there's no innovation. But it's even worse for AAA gaming. Because Hollywood is fast becoming meaningless, I think, in a lot of ways. But and gaming is only just going to continue to explode, continue to grow, and maintain its dominance. I'm going to do a Tim Dillon video, probably call it a stream, but I need some guidance from Tim Dillon. He's one of my favorite comedians, and he's got some COOF guidance on the COOF. It's a 16-minute video, but I'm not going to do the whole thing. Let's see if it's decent. I mean, if it's decent, I'll do a chunk of it. I have to find where the hell I put it. Is that it? There it is. And all right, I'm gonna get it loaded up. Tim Dillon on basically the first of a 4-part cover series. Tim Dillon and Whitney Cummings discuss the COOF 19 and its implications moving ahead. The work done here was done so for personal interest. Creative and commercial rights remain with Tim, Whitney, and their associates. So I'm sure someone will find this insightful. So I'm going to let it roll.
You're the king of podcasts.
Wow, that is not true in a statistical sense.
Are you going to disagree with me on my own podcast?
I appreciate it. I appreciate the compliment.
Are we wearing headphones or are we not wearing
You
headphones?
want to not wear them?
I don't know. I've been doing this for how long and I still can't figure out.
You know, Rogan wears them, and I feel like you want to talk about a
You know
guy
what?
that you just follow.
Yep.
I follow a lot of his advice, not about fitness or honesty or living or doing
Eating
the right
El Cart
thing.
tacos?
Yeah, but I wear headphones.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's to hear yourself.
I think so. You feel more plugged in
Yes, you do.
when you have the headphones on.
I'm going to ask you one more question that I usually start the podcast with, which is,
Yeah.
are we friends?
Yeah,
I think we are.
I think we are. If I had a problem, I would ask your advice.
Yep.
And that's what I consider a friend.
Friend.
Like if I and I have before, I've said like, what is this about? Mm-hmm. That's what I consider a friend.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But we're new friends.
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like we're best friends.
Yes, we're the greatest.
As of like 2
we are
weeks ago.
the greatest friends that have ever.
Corona has brought us
We're
together.
pandemic friends. Like I have friends now where I'm like, are we friends? People text me and I've never spoken to, calling me on the phone, and I'm like, are we friends or is it the end of the world and does it matter?
When a vaccine comes out, I will block your number.
Yeah, and I feel like it's weird to hyperanalyze it too because it's like just enjoy it for what it is. It's
Yeah.
like cuffing season for
Yeah.
friendships.
I really actually feel like we bonded hard
Yeah.
this last couple weeks because in the beginning, you were the only comedian
Yeah.
that was entertaining the idea of canceling shows up
Yeah,
top.
yeah. I was all in for kids because I was kind of like making a joke out of it, like fuck it, I don't want to work.
Yeah,
Who cares?
yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, I didn't
I'll
have a good
stay
closer
home.
anyway.
I thought it was gonna be like a month.
Yeah.
So I thought the whole thing was like, who are these fucking psychopaths that don't want to hang out? Like, I'll take a month, I'll chill. And then I was like, no, this is the rest of your life. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay.
It's a permanent state.
But yeah, I was canceling things in 2021. You know, I was canceling 4 weeks before Corona. I was like, shut it down. Just shut it down. Out of respect for China, shut it down. Shut that funny bone down.
Well,
you know?
we were talking like hour to hour.
Yeah.
I guess this was like a week and a half ago. Because
Yeah.
there was a moment there with comedians where it was glorified and like courageous and impressive to be like, the show must go on.
Right.
I'm coming to Royal Oak, Michigan. I'm coming to Houston.
Yeah.
When everyone else cancels, we show up. Even
Yeah.
though we don't have health insurance. That's
Right.
what we do.
Yeah, it was pretty
Laughter's the best medicine.
sick.
Not for Corona, turns out.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was, I was talking to people and they were like,
Yeah.
come on. Like that was the attitude they had.
Yep,
They were like,
yep.
come on. And I'm like, well, there's bodies burning in the street. I will, you know, the country of Italy's collapsed. They're like, dude, do you know how long people have waited for the show? I'm like, well, I know it's a lot, but you know,
You mean the Groupon
Yeah.
tickets they got
Yeah.
from their aunt?
I'm like, I know the people in Winnipeg are excited, but let's just, out of deference to the systemic collapse we're all about to. But no, I don't think anyone, you know, it's our job to poke holes in the official narrative,
Yeah.
right? So
Yes.
there's comics still doing it, which is crazy. Like even now, they're still like,
Who?
I mean, there's people that are just like, it's a little overblown. Thank you. I think it's do you know anyone personally who's died from this? Are you on a ventilator? No, I think everything's fine. So it's at that point, it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, you just got to admit you were wrong. This is not something you can just double down on.
We're also a bunch of alcoholics that have
Yeah.
a black belt in denial.
Correct. Sick.
You know, everyone's comparing this to 9/11. It's like 9/11 was planes and buildings.
Yeah.
That's where we had the PTSD around.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And also 9/11, the displays of human compassion were everywhere.
That's right.
After it
That's right.
happened. People were hugging each other in the supermarket.
You can't do that.
Now somebody coughs, they're your enemy
Instantly.
instantly. So it
With
becomes
this fucking guy.
Yeah, it becomes a real different vibe or feeling. Because I've been around for 9/11 and financial crisis 2008. I got a front row seat to that because I was working in finance. And it's like when you look back in retrospect, you're like, yeah, but you could go out to a bar. You
That's
could
right.
talk to someone next to you on the train.
Yeah.
You could share your story and commiserate. Now you can't do that, and it really
Unless
does.
you sign up for Zoom, which I refuse
Yeah,
to do.
yeah, it's
I
just not-
can't I'm not taking on any new passwords.
And here's what this is going to show us. I think this will show us the limits of digital life.
yeah.
You know, as fulfilling as it is, digital life.
Yeah.
You know, there is something about being in the proximity of another human being talking to you that you're going to be like, oh yeah, that was nice.
And also,
Yeah.
I'm learning I'm becoming disenchanted with a lot of my friends based on the background of their FaceTimes. I'm learning a lot of my friends are filthy pigs.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of people that,
I'm like, why aren't your towels matching?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people that have quarantined for a long time, and now it's now like
starting to show.
Now starting to show that they've been in isolation for a long time.
And it's also just like, I mean, for us in our business, FaceTiming, I'm like, how have you not figured out lighting yet? You're a camera, you're a DP.
Figure it out.
Why can't you figure out a place to put your phone when we FaceTime?
I thought of fostering a dog for a few.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I might do it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I can help you with that. That's like my brand.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
I might foster a dog for a little while just because like.
Produces serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin.
It's just, and I was like, I'd like to, this is selfish, but I want to make content with the animal.
Great. Please. It also saves a life and
then,
inspires other people to do the same. That's
but I don't know that I could commit to it forever.
That's what fostering is.
So that's what fostering is. Then I feel like at the end of
kill it at the end for a big.
At the end of the content, I would maybe drown it in a tub. You know what I mean? But I think it would be fun to give him a little.
That's really messed up. I would never drown my own dog. But yeah, that's Tim Dillon. His first, I guess, the first in his 4-part series there on the Coof spoof Madness. I'm going to call it a show. Thank everybody for hanging out. I had Hippie 605. Thank you for the host earlier. That was greatly appreciated. And I'd like to thank everybody for their support. And I am... we got anywhere in the chat. Whitney Cummings, not a fan. I'm more of a Sam Tripoli fan. Missed the first hour. Who the hell is Sam Tripoli? You going to make me look this up? Sam Tripoli. I don't recognize him. But I might check him out. Yeah, I don't recognize his face. But what is he on? Is he on YouTube or whatever? But yeah, I don't know. I don't even know who. I only know who Tim Dillon is. I don't know who this Whitney Cummings woman is. If I do, I've forgotten already. But thanks for hanging out. It's Monday. Might have another stream tomorrow, depending on what transpires. He's on Rockfin. All right. Well, I'm gonna call it a stream. Probably have another one tomorrow. Definitely gonna have some updates before the Sunday Canuck and Yankee show. And everybody, if you're in a cold, frigid climate, stay warm. And if not, stay safe. All right. Take care, everybody.
My tree. I love my woman.